Hello, kiddos. What's the time? It's the story time. Let's know about the story A Worried Hen, written by Mr. Steve Smallman. It was an icy cold day, and Farmer Fred had just finished milking the cows. Shivering onions, it's freezing, he said to Patch, his sheepdog, as he toasted his toes in front of the fire. Suddenly the door swung open and Farmer Fred's wife, Jenny, burst in. Ta-ta-da! Hetty Hen has hatched 12 beautiful chicks, panted Jenny. Now there's just one egg left to hatch. Woof, woof, barked the Patch. As Farmer Fred pulled on his wellies, Patch ran over to hen house to check on Hetty Hen's progress. There were 12 fluffy new chicks huddling together. Hetty Hen was still keeping the 13th egg warm. What's happening? Patch asked the other animals who had gathered round to watch. Shh, whispered Connie Cow. Hetty's concentrating. Hetty waited and waited, and the other animals waited and waited, but nothing happened. It's just too cold in this hen house, clucked Hetty Hen. This egg is never going to hatch. Here, cover the egg in some of my feathers, said Dotty Duck. They always keep me lovely and warm. Have some of my wool, said Shirley Sheep. I think you will find it very cozy indeed. And take some of my hay, said Connie Cow. It will warm up that egg in no time. Hetty Hen covered 13th egg with the feathers, wool and hay. Then she sat on the top. She was just getting comfortable when Farmer Fred arrived, singing a song. Happy Hatch Day, dear Hetty. Happy Hatch Day to you. When he had finished, Farmer Fred sat down beside Hetty and waited. Farmer Fred waited and waited. Hetty waited and waited. And other animals waited and waited. But nothing happened. It's just too cold in this hen house, said Farmer Fred. But never fear, I have an idea, he cried. Then he disappeared into his workshop. Before long, lots of banging and crashing could be heard. The animals all looked at each other and shook their heads. What was Farmer Fred making this time? Never fear, I have an idea, said the Farmer Fred. A few minutes later, the door to the workshop swung open, and out stepped the Farmer Fred. He was carrying a see-through box in his arms. This, he declared grandly, is a superheated egg hatcher. All we need to do is pop the egg inside, and it will hatch before you can say, extraordinary. In you go, said Farmer Fred. He popped the egg into the superheated egg hatcher. Then everybody sat back and waited. Farmer Fred waited and waited. Hetty waited and waited. But nothing happened again. Nothing happened, that is, until there was a pop and a fizz. And the light bulb flickered out. Never fear, said Farmer Fred. It just needs a new light bulb. And off he went to the farmhouse. The animals gathered outside the hen house. We have got to help poor Hetty, said Dotty Duck. Surely someone must have an idea. She looked at each animal in turn, but they just shook their heads. Woof, 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 barked Patch, wagging his tail. He had just remembered where the warmest place on the farm was. Farmer Fred was sitting beside the fire sorting through a box when Patch burst through the door. "Hello, Patch," smiled Farmer Fred as he popped a light bulb into his cap. "This is no time for lazying around the warm fire. We have got an egg to hatch." "Woof, woof," barked Patch as he picked up the cap and placed it gently beside the fire. "See?" Farmer Fred looked at the bulb inside his cap beside the fire. "That's it! I have got a brilliant idea!" he cried, grabbing his hat and rushed out of the farmhouse. Farmer Fred dashed outside and came back with an unhatched egg in his cap. Hetty Hen and her 12 little chicks followed him into a warm kitchen. "There," said Farmer Fred, laying the cap and egg beside the fire. Everyone sat back and waited. Farmer Fred waited and waited. Hetty waited and waited. And other animals waited and waited. "Oh dear! Oh dearie me!" clucked Hetty Hen. "This egg is never going to hatch." But just then, crack, crack, the egg began to hatch and out popped the 13th little chick. See? All the animals and the farmer who waited since long time are very happy to see the egg crack. And a little cute chicken came out of the egg. "Cheep, cheep," chirped the chick, hopping onto the farmer Fred's lap. "It looks like she's decided you are her mum, Fred," laughed Jenny as she walked through the door. "Sorry for these scratches of my son. I always knew this was the warmest place on the farm for hatching eggs," smiled Farmer Fred. "Woof, woof," barked the Patch. And all the animals are very happy in their farm, and the farmer also. It looks at the clock. So, kiddos, how was the story? A worried hen, poor Hetty Hen, is worried. Her new chicks are chilly and her last egg just won't hatch. "But never fear," always said the Farmer Fred. And he helped the hen to hatch its cute little 13th baby. Thank you. Let's meet in the next story. Bye bye.